What's going on? It's your boy Julien, Stoutt, licensed personal trainer, licensed PE teacher, world record powerlifter, special education teacher, here to take the fear out of fitness. Class is in session. Check this out. One of the things that, as a teacher, I try to encourage my students to do is think before you act. Because there are going to be times where action is going to require no thinking. You are only going to be able to act. But if you think before you act more times than not, you will, and especially if you're thinking about the right things, you will always find yourself typically on the better end of things as opposed to on the wrong end of things. And this particular post that I saw today actually made me think about the situations that plague our youth today, because this is a very serious situation. So I'm going to share my screen with you. So this says how it played out. Let me move myself over a little bit. 5 minutes cost me 20 years of my life because I made a permanent decision off of a temporary emotion. Here's how it played out. 1 minute, felt disrespected. 3 minutes, fight broke out in the club. 1 minute, pulled out the pew pew. The result, 20-year prison sentence, missed my son's birth and first 20 birthdays, missed my daughter's birthdays from ages 2 to 22, $100,000 in legal fees, and a lifetime of what ifs. One emotional decision cost me 2 decades away from my family, my freedom, and my life. Those 5 minutes of emotion can change everything. The trade-off is never worth it. Think before you act. And I'm going to turn around and refer back to one of my videos where I mentioned black people crash out over image. The disrespect. Now, you can feel disrespect. You can address the disrespect. But getting into a fight over said disrespect is a whole nother thing. You could address it and say, yo, you violated. And what? You know, you will probably get somebody, and what? You know, sometimes it is what it is. But you got to think, if you're going to fight, you fought. Why did you pull out the pew pew? Why did you pull out the bean popper? Why did you pull it out? You were fighting. You didn't get jumped. You didn't get accosted. You didn't get yourself put in a physical situation where you yourself did not entertain it. One of the things is that also you need to understand is knowing your gun laws. Some of y'all think that just because you thought you were defending yourself, that you have the right to accost somebody with a firearm. Well, unfortunately for you, you are wrong. Let me give you a lesson on some legal advice. It's called mutual combatant. If you are a mutual combatant, you dare not pull out a pew pew. Because if you do, guess what? You're going to jail. If you started fighting with an individual, if you started verbally accosting someone and then they get into a physical altercation with you, and you did nothing to temper the situation down, if you pull out said firearm, you are going to jail, whether you fired it or not. Okay? So let's put it in the situation. So let's say somebody cut you off on the street somewhere, and you proceeded to stop your vehicle, get out of your vehicle, and then try to accost somebody. And then in the process, they get out of their vehicle to deal with you, and you pull out your weapon, whether to intimidate them or not. You are going to go to jail, whether you fired a shot or not. So that's just one of the gun laws, the many gun laws that are on the books. So that way, I want y'all to understand how just that one simple situation where you might think you feel justified to brandish a weapon, to intimidate someone that you felt was violating you or made a situation unsafe for you, and you got angry and whatever. Guess what? You are putting yourself and your family at risk for incarceration. And yes, I said family incarceration because I didn't say that they're getting locked up, but they're going to have to deal with the consequences of you being incarcerated. If you're a family, they are going to have to deal with the consequences of your incarceration, and you not being in control of your emotions is going to put people's lives at risk, including your own. We have to stop crashing out over image. We have to stop crashing out over mere disrespect. We're not talking about people making contact with you. We're not talking about people being violent with your family members. We're not talking about any of that. We're talking about disrespect and talking crazy. I mean, for God's sakes, Takeoff lost his life over Quavo running his mouth. Think about that. The same disrespect that one took and felt that they were being disrespected and decided they were going to run their mouth on cost them their family member's life. They're still alive, but it cost them their family member's life. Just because you think you're good doesn't mean everybody around you is good. And just because you think that you can turn around and fight for 3 minutes doesn't mean that you have the right to now brandish a weapon. You have the right to crash out. You have the right to turn around and play yourself into incarceration. This man lost 20 years of his life. He ain't gonna get that back. He could do whatever he got to do to make life normal for himself as humanly possible, but he's not going to get those 20 years back. And as you can see, he mentions he missed 20 years of his children's life. He has 2 kids and he missed 20 whole years. They're grown now. They're not even babies anymore. They're not even children anymore. They're his children, but they're not children. They're full-grown adults now. One is legally able to drink and the other one is almost legally able to drink. That's a whole nother problem. And within our communities, whether it be the hood or whether it be the black community, it doesn't matter. And when I say the hood and black community, please don't get it twisted. I'm not suggesting that black people are the only ones in the hood. I am specifically dealing with the hood mentality and also the mentality of those who happen to be black, who live in the hood, that these are the situations that cause us most difficulties, is our ability to not see things clearly and react with a level of control that will put us in the forefront of the situation rather than behind the 8 ball. Now, am I perfect? Absolutely not. Everybody out here is going to make a mistake. Will Smith made the mistake and got on stage and slapped Chris Rock. As egregious as that was, he wasn't in control of his emotions, and now it cost him 10 years of prestige at the Oscars. While he did win an Oscar that year, he cannot be nominated for 10 whole years. And he possibly could put out very good quality product, and he will not be honored for it for at least 10 years. Keep that in mind. Number 2, the other thing is that we have to recognize that we have the power to move mountains. If we stop focusing on the performance, if we stop looking at the performance of it all, trying to intimidate others, which is a fear response, you will find yourself in a better position in life as opposed to putting yourself in a bad situation that can only get worse and will also financially cripple you, because $100,000 in legal fees is a lot of money. That is generational wealth money. That is generational change money. And now, it is no longer in your possession. It is in the hands of a lawyer, or several lawyers. It doesn't matter which. But we have to stop crashing out over this image and over the thought of disrespect. Just the thought of disrespect. Okay? Felt disrespected. Somebody said something to you. Okay, what did they say? It doesn't even matter what they said. They said talk goes through you. That's what we were taught. Talk goes through you. Now you lay hands, whole nother story. But tell me your thoughts. Don't forget to like, subscribe, share. Follow me on Facebook, Instagram, and on YouTube. Have a nice day. Be the best you. Class is Stoutt.